Traveling the Vortex.
We've joined the Doctor as he travels the Vortex and landed at episode number 187. And how exactly do you swashbuckle? I'm Keith.
I'm Sean.
I'm Glenn.
How are you guys?
Thought I'd provide the opening music on the fly today.
Your earworm for the day.
I was a little afraid that Keith wouldn't go with it because he paused for a long time. I'm like, oh,
I wasn't sure if I should.
he's going to start over. No, he didn't.
It'll just be one more to add to the long list of
went with the improv
takes.
like we did last week and said yes.
Yeah, we've worked on our improv skills, so.
When is a dollar?
When it's a...
I brought that up on Friday Night Who?
You did?
Yeah, Chrissy replied. When it's a... What was hers?
I don't remember.
Everybody had time to prepare.
When it's a rolling bubble bath, because we were right at that scene in Resurrection. It was spewing shaving cream everywhere.
Yeah.
When it's a Davros Dalek. That was...
How'd you guys do this week? No. What did you guys do this week?
Well, it's been a short week because it's Sunday again.
It has. We just recorded just days ago.
Yeah. And surprisingly, I think I did more this past week than I did the week before.
Oh, is that right?
Do you have a list?
I have a mental list.
Okay, go for it.
I'm the only old man that has to write down what I did. I didn't this week.
I watched World War Z.
Yay!
I need to
Don't
do
applause that movie.
It's on
I
Netflix.
liked that movie.
It's on
It's on
Netflix.
Netflix. I watched the unrated version.
I haven't read the book, so I feel like I can't applaud
I didn't like the first hour at all. It felt like Michael Bay made it. Because, okay, let's make... how are we going to make this different from other zombies? We're going to put it over the top of what they can do and how they act. Yeah. Part of my problem is I read the book, and so it's the only... As the honest trailer says... What a waste of good source material.
Oh.
And where the only correlation is the title. Once it got to a point where I could distance myself and probably had enough beers from the book, I started enjoying it. And it was specifically after pretty much once they landed in England. Because there's this huge jet setting. They go to Korea was the first place, right?
I think so, yeah.
And then they go to Gaza and Israel, and then they go someplace else. Or no, they went someplace else before Gaza. And then went to Gaza, and then, which had a whole lot of horrible tropes that I didn't like. And then it went, they got on this
Was there
plane.
a shopping mall?
No, there wasn't.
Oh,
but there were
good.
giant walls, and it was a walled-off city.
Okay.
Obviously, this guy, one of those movies where this guy has the worst luck ever. Everywhere he goes, things go horribly wrong.
He was just riding the wave, baby.
Yeah, he's just staying barely a step ahead of it. And did things just because it might look cool, even though it didn't make much sense plot-wise, and they didn't really quite explore it enough. But then they get on this plane, and then it turns into Dead Plane, or whatever that movie was.
Dead Plane?
Yeah, there was a zombie plane movie, post Snakes on a Plane, so of course the next obvious step is putting zombies on a plane.
Oh, okay.
That was not a good movie either.
Air of the Dead.
Something like that.
Dead Air. No, it wasn't
It
Dead
might
Air.
have been, I can't
That's a
remember.
Left 4 Dead title. What was that?
Doesn't matter.
I think it might have been Air. Plane of the Dead, something like that. Something
of the Dead.
Yeah, but it wasn't a Romero movie.
Airline of the Dead.
No, that was a catchier title. No. It was so catchy, I don't remember.
Well,
Obviously.
there are some zombie movies that are so bad they're good, like Zombie Strippers.
I can't imagine that's even so bad it's good.
It is. Black Sheep is another example of where it's so bad it's good. Where was
You just look for opportunities to throw that out there.
Black Sheep?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, I love Black Sheep.
I think in your head you've got like it's been about 5 podcasts since I last mentioned that. I should bring that up again. Black Sheep's a really good, underrated movie if you like zombie stuff.
Well, it's a very unique zombie film because it's zombie sheep. Anyways. He gets to England, and that's where Peter Capaldi is, and the flower dress girl from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and a guy from Run Lola Run, and it starts this really cool exploration that if they were to make more movies, it kind of sets up this could be a franchise, because they don't resolve anything in this film. They found that
Spoilers.
Okay, I'm not going to say. They discover something that could become useful in conquering the zombies down the road, but immediately isn't useful at all. So it's kind of, go read the book. Because if they would have truly adapted it, it would have been amazing. Because it would have been it's an oral biography. So this guy, 15 years after the war with zombies is over, the war that lasted 10 years, goes around and getting stories of what they went through. So it's not a linear story of what happens in the war. They could have done a really cool faux documentary style.
Here's the problem
and then showing
with that.
flashbacks of the action of what they're describing, and then coming back to the story. It could have been brilliant. It would be better series than a movie.
Here's the problem with that. It's an oral history. Therefore, he made it out, and everybody he talked to has made it out. There's no driving.
No, but you don't know how it started or why. And well, that's what they try to explore in the movie, is how it started and why and how to stop it.
But that's the thing, is that there's no... Let me tell you about the time I almost died. Well, you didn't, so you spoiled the ending. I mean, it's just...
But it's
and you can't do an American Beauty again. I'm dead.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I don't know. It's difficult to pull those off. And don't get me wrong, I have not read the book. I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about the book. But I enjoyed the movie because I haven't read the book.
The most you can compare it to is like hearing stories from veterans. It's sitting down with a war veteran and hearing their stories.
Yeah,
That's kind of what it is. It just was a zombie
war.
war. That's what it was. I also watched Monsters, which was Gareth Edwards, not Gareth Roberts. Edwards. Directorial debut. The guy who did Godzilla. Phenomenal. Really good. It's got that nice independent feel to it, but a giant scope. And it really gives me a lot of... It makes me excited about Godzilla 2, because if he kind of goes in this general direction, he's set up such a rich world of this... You know what it's about? Basically...
Spoilers.
This is established in the start. So,
okay.
A meteorite crashes to Earth. Or no, it was like they sent out a probe to a meteorite and it came back and crashed, and then somehow things mutated and there are these giant alien monsters through a big swath of Mexico called the Infected Zone. And so this guy is trying to get this girl back to the U.S. So it's a unintentional, apparently, interesting look at illegal immigration. And the path into America where he didn't intend it at all. Unlike the message with District 9 or Machete, it's very understated, and from what I know, it wasn't planned. But it's one of those really cool movies where it's a character study and in these tough situations. And it's one of those things where you never truly see the monster either. Like, you get enough glimpses of it to kind of piece it together, but you never truly see it. It's really well done. Really, really well done. And then the other thing I did was I went and saw Dawn of the Planet of the Apes again. So good. This time not in 3D.
Okay, so now comparing and contrasting, do you agree with the...
Yeah, I agree. Although...
Do you agree with it that it should have been in 3D?
That
or
it didn't need to be.
That it didn't need to be, okay.
It was fun to watch it in 3D, but it didn't lose anything in 2D. Which, come on, you never really lose anything when it's in 2D.
What?
Have you seen it yet? Eventually on this podcast, we will discuss Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, probably on a Blu-ray release.
Holly and I wanted to go see it, but we just couldn't work out time or sitter.
Mm. One other thing I want to say about it, but that doesn't spoil it, is I really like how it handles war.
Which, apes or monsters?
Apes.
Apes.
How it handles it all, because so many blockbuster movies would do one thing, and this does something different. I really appreciate that. But seeing it in 2D, I don't know if it was because of the screening it was, or where I was seated, it was a little darker than in 3D.
Really?
Yeah.
Normally 3D is the other way.
Yeah.
3D films are so dark.
I wonder if it was just the projector in the theater.
I suppose that could be.
It was like, probably, it was the first showing of the day, so
The bulb hadn't warmed up yet.
Yeah.
That happens in LED lighting.
Because I went at like...
Surely they're not down to using LED lights for projectors yet. Maybe.
And then
There's a little hamster on a wheel.
Compact fluorescent, they have to warm up too.
And today we hung out with Audie a little bit. Played some video games. That was about it. Yeah.
What'd you guys play?
We did a little bit of Lego Marvel. A little bit, not much of Lego... Well, we played a decent amount of Lego Batman, the first one. That was it.
Did you, real quick segue off of Godzilla, did you happen to hear the news from Comic-Con?
A sequel?
They've officially greenlit Godzilla 2.
You still haven't seen the first one.
You still haven't seen Godzilla.
It's at the cheap theater, by the way.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I'd have known that.
It's kind of... I kind of want to go
see that, so I could go see that by myself.
I kind of want to go see it on the...
I've got kids tomorrow, unfortunately, and work.
I kind of want to see it in the cheap theater because it will give that old Japanese feel because of all the scratch lines in the film.
Well, film grain. It'll be awesome. They've officially greenlit Godzilla 2, which Gareth Edwards is going to come back and direct. And according to the news from Comic-Con, Rodan, Mothra...
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
And Ghidorah. How's that one pronounced?
I think that's
G-H-I... Ghidorah. Yeah. One of
the big three-headed monster.
That one.
Yeah.
With wings.
Which I would have said wrong even if I wasn't standing here looking at it. So,
which is interesting. All three of those are
Isn't
flying
Ghidorah
creatures.
something different in the Americanized dub?
Probably.
I think it is. I'm not 100% sure, but like Mechagodzilla is not Mechagodzilla in the Japanese,
but he totally should be Mechagodzilla. Because the Japanese have this weird fascination with building giant robots. So why not build a giant robot Godzilla and call it Mechagodzilla?
He is a giant robot Godzilla, even in the Japanese version of it. He's just got a different name.
Mechagodzilla?
No. No, it's something quite different. I can't remember what it was, but...
What's the Japanese word for mecha?
I don't know.
I would think it would be that.
I don't know.
Kaiju.
I guess it'd be a Jaeger.
Not a kaiju, a Jaeger.
That was one of the things I was impressed by the recent re-releases on DVD and Blu-ray. Is it has the American title, the region ones have the American title across the top, and across the bottom has the Japanese title.
Oh, that's cool.
Neat, yeah.
That's what we did. Finished up Buffy season 2, into season 3 now. We watched the first episode tonight.
Of season 3?
Yeah. Spoilers. What'd you do? Either of you. Who's next?
I didn't do anything this week. I didn't even watch anything this week, which is kind of sad. I've tried to get the kids to watch Howard the Duck.
Good luck with that.
I never found a time. Well, that's the thing is, it's a talking duck. It's the 6-year-old at the very least should be excited about that. No, I told him on Friday, I said, we're going to watch Howard the Duck this weekend, because I got all excited, because I keep seeing Guardians of the Galaxy trailers, and I keep thinking, oh, if you can pull off Rocket Raccoon, you could totally do another Howard the Duck movie and do it right.
It wasn't done wrong.
No. Let me preface that by saying I love the Howard the Duck movie. I love everything about it. It's a fantastically fun childhood memory of mine and guilty pleasure, and I love it. It's got a good story, and it's funny, and no matter what anybody says, it's a wonderful little piece of cinema. However, I'm one of those kids that read Howard the Duck comics when I was a kid, and going and seeing Howard the Duck, while it didn't disappoint me initially, or didn't sullen my enjoyment of the film, it disappointed me in the sense that I kind of expected that Howard the Duck.
It wasn't the comic book.
And so I have this two-sided love with Howard the Duck, because I absolutely love the comic books and I love the movie, but I would like to see them now adapt to the actual pages.
That's what I meant with the G.I. Joe movies.
Yeah, I would absolutely like them to adapt the pages of Howard the Duck from the Marvel comics and put them in a movie. Now, it doesn't even have to be Howard the Duck movie. I'd be happy with just a sidekick role, just something. And I halfway expect Rocket to drop a line about his friend Howard in Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm expecting that. I'm expecting it. Anyway, but I got all excited because I was looking back through old Howard the Duck comics, and I told the kids, I said, hey, we should watch Howard the Duck. And I've been seeing all the Guardians of the Galaxy trailers. And we just didn't get around to it. We went bowling yesterday, which was a lot of fun. Played a couple of games. Really nothing. I worked on hedges again today and trimmed them back, so they look a lot better. I'm getting there. I gotta wait till some of the
close to taking a picture.
I gotta wait till because I don't have them cut back as far as I want.
Just go to somebody else's house and take a picture of the hedges. We won't know.
I don't have
Photoshop it in.
I don't have them cut back as far as I want.
I didn't know Glenn had columns on his house. Those are awesome.
But I need to wait until the leaves start dying off and to cut them really back to where I want them, so they don't get away from us next year. That's it. I didn't do anything else. We did let's clean up around the house and did a lot of housework. So
I remember the other thing I've been doing since San Diego Comic-Con's going on. My favorite part of it is Zachary Levi's Nerd HQ panels. You guys know? Have you seen those? It's so much fun. It's my favorite part of the con, especially since you don't get video of the actual panels from Comic-Con. And so this is actually, they stream them live, and then they upload them full, so you can go watch them. An hour-long panel with Nathan Fillion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 2. Because it's all for charity, Operation Smiles.
wasn't Karen and Matt and Earther on that one year?
Yeah.
That's where I first discovered them.
Last year, Moffat, Jenna and Matt were on it. So it's been 3 years running now, and I discovered it 2 years ago. I think with the Karen and Matt one.
Yep.
And it's so much fun. If Zach can't moderate it, a lot of times Nathan will just come in and moderate it. Last year, Evangeline Lilly's panel was moderated by Nathan Fillion. So it was the two of them hanging out on stage answering questions. And it's all, everyone pays like $20 a person to get in, and it all goes to Operation Smiles to fix cleft palates for kids. So it's a really good charity, too.
But then they stream for free.
Yeah.
So the people at Comic-Con are paying for it.
Yeah.
And we reap the benefits.
Yeah.
Sweet. Post that link in the show notes.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, you won't get it now because obviously we're recording Sunday night and
Right.
the shindig is over.
But the videos are still
The
there.
video's still there.
Even
Right.
They
2-3
upload it, so you
years
can still
ago.
watch it.
yeah, you can still watch them from
past.
Yeah.
previous. So I would be interested in having
One
that.
I watched was Bad A Women, which was pretty interesting. It was Yvonne Stravinsky, somebody from Parks and Rec,
Is it Nerd or Geek?
Nerd HQ.
Nude HQ.
Nerd.
Retta from Parks and Rec.
What'd I say?
Nude.
No, it's not
That'd be a
nude.
completely different.
Did I really say nude?
You said nude.
Wow.
He's right. I'm not.
I heard nude.
Okay. Maybe I'm hearing things.
Missy Pellegrim, who's Zach's wife and is on Rookie Blue. Jennifer Morrison from Once Upon a Time. I just blanked on her name from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I don't
Mulan.
remember a blank on her name on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mulan.
Not watching it yet.
The Disney Mulan. She was Mulan.
Okay.
The Asian gal
Yeah.
that plays...
Voice actress.
I
can't remember her name on the show.
Anyway.
And Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones, who plays Sansa. That was really interesting. And there's some really interesting questions in
So
there.
you have a panel called Bad A Women, which I assume the A is we're being, PC. And you didn't have Mila
No, you
Jo...
mean PG.
Or PG.
PG.
You didn't have Mila Jovovich on that panel.
I don't think she was at Planet
Well, then you can't have that
Famicom.
panel.
Hey, did I see that she's in... No, that was Charlize Theron's in Mad Max.
Yeah, she's in Maddox.
Ming-Na Wen.
What's her name on the show?
May. May.
Agent May.
There was another one where it was random mystery people, included Brecklin Meyer, Nathan Fillion, the guy from Eureka, the main guy, the guys from Mythbusters, some dude from SNL, and Cal Penn. Just random group of people that you would never see together any other time. And
Who's not got a panel going on right now? All right, you and you. Come
Yeah,
here.
pretty much. They did one with Sesame Street. So it was 3 guys. The guy who does Cookie Monster, Grover, and the red one. I can't remember his name. Not Elmo. An orangish red one. Oscar? No, not Oscar.
Telly?
No.
Tully's purple.
Just red one.
How long has it been since you watched Sesame Street? This could
Apparently
be
a long
This
time.
could be new.
Although Mason watched it up until a few years ago.
I can't. I mean, I get why not. Everybody else does. I guess I have trouble believing there's a Sesame Street panel at Comic Con.
I think this is the first year that's ever happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not? I wonder if they got a big draw.
Looked like it was a pretty packed house.
wonder if that was because people couldn't get into other panels.
Well,
I mean, Glenn would have gone. I probably would have gone, too.
It was really fun to watch.
I forgot, hey, there's a Sesame Street panel. I don't know.
I don't remember the guy's name now. So that's the other thing I've been doing, is watching that.
I heard, I've not watched it yet, but Matt, my manager, when he came in for inventory, looked at me with these, he's got this look whenever he gets excited about something. He says, have you seen the new trailer for Mad Max that came out of Planet Comic-Con? I was like, no, I haven't watched it yet. I saw that it posted. He says, go home as soon as you are done here and watch the trailer.
That's horrible.
Really? Yeah. He was really excited about it.
It's terrible.
He was excited because he said it looked like a Mad Max movie.
Yeah, it does, but it's ramped up and over the top and horrible.
Well, there you have it. One yes, one no. Let me know what you think.
Was it Orphan Black panel?
That's a series of films that I quite enjoyed, but don't want to reboot.
I don't know that it's a reboot. It's just kind of a...
and the Sesame Street
Robin Hood.
panel?
You just keep telling the story,
benefited the Sesame Street Workshop organization instead of Operation Smiles.
Oh, that's cool.
That's kind of neat.
That's fun.
It doesn't say who they are.
The Children's Television Network. Children's Television Network Foundation.
CTNF. What did I do this week? I sampled a couple of video games.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Long time for me. I played a little bit of Tomb Raider.
What do you think?
Oh, I loved it. The new Tomb Raider. Just Tomb Raider. Really cool.
The one I got sucked into for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Love the cinematic storytelling in it. Love the fact that they fixed all the camera problems. Because there's nothing like running up to the edge of a cliff and timing your jump only to have the camera swivel unexpectedly to a new position and you miss the jump because you bounced off the wall and into the chasm 40 or 50 or 60 times. I don't miss that from the old days. So this was rather nice that it was still fluid, but it was very straightforward. It was like, oh, thank you for this. I still killed Laura an inordinate number of times, but it was cool. It was really fun. They're obviously on the island from Lost. That's what I got out of this. Her boat crashes, and she comes out, and there's a boat,
no smoke monster,
and an ancient sailing ship, and like 10 dozen airplanes.
It's actually a bit more twisted than that.
And then she wakes up in a room full of cannibals.
A giant smoke monster?
Yeah,
and a room full of cannibals. So.
It's Tomb Raider, so you can't expect some sort of weird mystical aspect to it.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one had dinosaurs. Because why?
Lost World. But so I played a little bit of that, and then I started playing GTA 5.
Oh, how's that? I've never really played any of the GTAs.
It's along the same lines as the other Grand Theft Auto games. I mean, you play a guy and you break the law and get money and
steal cars.
Well, you could do that if you want. You still have to steal cars pretty much all the time, but it's got some fun gameplay elements
to it. You're getting so much money, why not buy a car?
Well, because that takes too long. Why would you want to walk down to the dealership? Well,
Then it'd be called...
I guess it would be Grand Theft Auto.
New car owner instead of Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto's in the title. You're going to have to steal a car at some point. I can say this, because I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I've played all the previous Grand Theft Auto games. The citizens of Los Santos, which is totally Los Angeles. I mean, it's based on Los Angeles. I didn't realize how based on Los Angeles it was. I think they took maybe a few liberties, but at one point in time I got lost, and I was driving around in a big circle, and I realized I was at the airport, because there was the big spider-looking Art Deco terminal thing at LAX. And then as I was passing down this road, there were these gigantic colored columns. And I went, oh, this is where Galley's at. I'm on that road. I know where I'm at now. So I was okay after that. But
GTA 4 I played from start to finish, and it was New York.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and as I drove around...
Actually, I take it back. That's the one I haven't played. I haven't played New York. I played Vice City.
GTA 4 is the one with the Russian mob.
That's the one I skipped over then. I didn't play that one. But
Vice
I played
City,
Vice City,
I think, is based on Las
Miami.
Vegas. Oh, was it? Oh, that's right. It is Miami.
Yeah, that one was Miami.
San Andreas is San Diego, I'm assuming, or San Francisco, maybe. I think it's in
I don't remember
California.
Yeah, somewhere. Anyway, the citizens of Los Santos, hands down, the worst drivers in the entire series. I cannot tell you the number of accidents I witnessed that I did not cause. which is unusual for these games. Normally, you're the one darting in and out of traffic and running red
right.
lights and all this kind of stuff. And, people, no, they do it all on their own. I did not. I feel a little bad running up on a sidewalk and just say, I'll stop and wait for the light to change sometimes. unless it's a timed mission or something. Oh, yeah, because I've got the radio on, and usually it's the classic rock station, and I'm okay with that. I'll sit there and jam out to Baker Street for 20 minutes. Okay. And you can't do that because they don't go on green. Half the time they don't stop on red. They just kind of, it's like LA. It's like driving in LA. I was like, I wonder if this was done on purpose or not. But so many. And the other thing, I don't like driving motorcycles in these games. I feel much safer in a car. Because when you get into a high-speed pursuit on a motorcycle, things go bad very quickly.
You're likely to die.
I've been thrown.
Well, I tend to drive up walls.
Just barely nicked that street lamp with the handlebar.
And it go launching, the whole bike flips over.
Wound up in the bay.
Off.
Yeah. But it's safer in this one because you can right in between the cars and get where you need to be and get out of their way faster than if you were in a big vehicle that basically says, please run into me because, so.
I learned if I, how do they rate the pursuits? It's like 4 stars, 5 stars, something like that. I don't remember exactly what it is. But
well, the more stars you get, the more elevated your threat assessment is.
Right.
They start sending other agencies after you. The more stars you get.
I found if I got into 4 or 5 stars, I would jack a bike, drive it up onto the subway, and drive down the tracks. And no one could follow me. And then you could get those achievements for getting out of a 4-star and getting out of a 5-star pursuit.
Look at me, I'm up on the elevated train tracks. Hey, look, there's a car coming.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why you take a bike, because you can actually get off to the side and avoid getting smashed by the train.
But, no, that was kind of fun just to be able to kick back and play some video games, because I haven't got to do that in a while.
Now, did you just borrow that, or did you buy it?
I didn't buy it, but I did wind up acquiring it, yes.
Oh, you did. Can I borrow it when you're done with it? I'd like to give it a try.
No.
Oh.
the Grand Theft Auto, the way this particular one is set up is a 2-disc, and first of all, you have to have at least 8 gigs of storage on your hard drive available, because it installs, because it's so big.
I see.
The region of Los Santos is, if you took 4, Vice City, and 3, and Liberty City, and added the maps of all of those together, it's bigger than all of that. Square footage wise, so it is a huge. I thought I'd explored a good chunk of it. No, haven't come close. But because of that, installed this. I have the play disc, so I borrowed one from work and installed it, and then I have the play disc, so I can play it. But I don't have a way to install it on another one. Otherwise, absolutely, I would let you.
I got you.
But if you wanted to rent it, you certainly could do that.
Yeah.
What else did I do this week?
I don't know that I want to spend money on. It's the problem. I mean, I played GTA 4 and I loved it, but I was quite young. Well, it's only been like 6 years ago, but I was younger and I found myself being more sensitive to that type of game.
Yeah, well,
and so
here's the other
I
thing
want to play it just to kind of feel the mechanics for it, but I don't want to buy it or even.
Here's the thing: is I've played all of them, but I've not finished any of them.
Yeah, because I finished GTA 4 because
you get to a certain
I felt
point
the need.
In these things where you
I really did. I just
you get so many of the missions completed, and you get enough money that you can kind of accomplish whatever you really need to. And like Borderlands, it becomes this, well, I have this money. What do you do with it? Well, you can buy property. What does the property do? What allows you to get more money?
Right.
And so then you wind up free playing quite a bit. Well, you can only go to the strip club and use the cheat code to unlock the tank or the helicopter and blow up cops for so long before you're like, okay, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So I kind of get bored on them after a while, which is why I wouldn't buy it myself. It's been fun to kind of revisit.
That's why I prefer, if it's an open world, to have a bit more quote-unquote story, like Infamous, where it's very much open world, but you're going along this linear path where you can choose good or bad and have replayability to it, as opposed to...
That's what I liked about Fable.
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect would be another example of that.
I popped in GTA 4 about a year ago.
Destroy all humans.
About a year ago. And I found myself borrowing cars and stopping at stoplights and not running from the police. So apparently I've gotten older.
Well, when I first played it, it was nonstop. Get out of the car, give me a car, and just drive everywhere, over everything, and whatever. And it got to the point where I would get in my car to go to work, like for real. that I would be behind somebody at a stoplight and I'd be eyeballing the curb, kind of going, I can make it. And I realized it's like, I'm done playing this game for a while, because if I'm literally considering that, it's like, nah, we're done with that. But yeah, so that's, like I said, it's just been kind of fun to revisit that and do something different. We we recorded Tuesday night.
Yes.
I haven't seen you guys since then, right?
You saw me Friday.
Friday for Who? Which we
So
did.
I know there's 2 movies you've watched.
There's 2. Which 2? Well, one I know. What was the other one?
The one that you gave back to me.
Oh yeah, we watched Perks of Being. Thank you. That's where I was going with that. We watched Perks of Being a Wallflower. Finally.
What'd you think?
Which I thought it had been since Christmas since you gave that to me, but maybe
No, I
not.
got it for Christmas. I think I loaned it to you before I
You did
loaned it
loan
to
it to
him.
me, yeah.
So
I really enjoyed it. I told Keith that we both liked it. Mel and I both liked it a lot. I don't think for me it's got a lot of replay value as much as I enjoyed it as a good movie.
I could play it over and over again. I don't think I'd own it, but I really enjoy it.
I did really enjoy it. I wouldn't watch it, over and over.
I think it's a yearly.
Sorry, that's a soda being open.
Quit hissing at me.
You got to do that with Dr. Peppers because they tend to explode if you don't.
It's very much felt like the story of my life without the good parts. It's kind of like, wow, been there, did that, had that conversation. Okay, maybe that's why. Maybe there's just
Maybe it hit a little too
close to home for a few segments of it. But
If you ever have the time to read the book, I highly recommend that. I own it too.
maybe eventually.
And the author helped write the screenplay.
I saw that.
So-
yeah,
Well, then you don't need to read the book. Because I figure if the author helped write even helped write the screenplay, I pretty much got
There's
the
still
book.
stuff you got to cut out because you can't include it in the movie.
unless it's a play, then you can add stuff.
So
apparently.
I got
true.
the abridged book.
Yeah.
You get the bridge.
And I don't like abridged things.
I don't know how to use
When
it.
the audiobooks, no, give me the unabridged.
Depends on what it is.
I was so mad when I bought William Shatner's autobiography, the audiobook, and found out it was abridged, and you can only get the unabridged from libraries. You can't buy the unabridged.
The audiobook?
Yeah.
Really?
I was pissed.
I wonder why.
I don't know. So if you guys want to borrow an unabridged copy, up till now, read by William Shatner.
Hear that enough about William Shatner.
It's a really fun read.
All of his books are fun reads, quite honestly. 1776. I watched that movie in school and loved it. The musical. Loved it. It's one of my favorites. And it came out on DVD, and it was the restored director's cut. And I went, "Woo! I'm so excited because it's like unabridged," and it sucks. The director they included a whole bunch of additional scenes that you didn't need, and they brung things out. It actually ruined some of the comedy in some situations. That it was just like, oh, and here's that song I don't like. Fast forward. So whenever I watch, I have to admit this. Whenever I watch 1776, I edit it.
Too bad.
I skip around, and this part really isn't that good. I can cut this part out.
That's too bad. I love that movie from start to finish, including every song they sing.
Even the one the page, what was he? The page and the messenger boy thing. That's the one I wrote. That's honestly the one that I don't like. I love everything else in the movie.
Love the whole thing.
Everything else in the movie I love, but yeah, don't like that one. But there were a bunch of little cutaway shots. I mean, it's important, I guess, to see Congress when a fire truck goes by and they all go running outside, hoot and holler. It's like, okay, I get it, but that's not how I think of the founding fathers. Maybe that's the thing. Anyway, so then we watched. Well, I'll get to. Okay, so I told Keith this, but now I'm going to share this story in the film. So we listened to the Church and the Crown, or I listened to the Church and the Crown, and it's all Musketeers and France and Cardinal Richelieu, okay, and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm ready to watch the Three Musketeers again. We should put that on the schedule for Flicks with Friends or Disney with Friends because
The Disney version thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, no. There's only one version of the Three Musketeers, and that's the Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt one.
The one furthest from the original
Doesn't
source
matter.
material.
Here's why.
Not to be confused with the Mickey Mouse version.
Not to be confused with the Mickey Mouse version.
Because there technically is 2 Disney versions.
It's the most fun.
Three, because I think they did one in the 1970s, didn't they?
Did they? I don't remember.
I don't remember Disney one.
I thought
in
it was
the 70s.
D'Artagnan and the Three Musketeers or something like that. I can't remember for sure.
To them the above.
You look that up.
Doesn't matter.
Of all the versions of the Three Musketeers of the story that I've seen, including the Richard Chamberlain, was he in the? Yeah,
I think so.
of all of them, the 1993 version is the one that resonates the most with me because it's the most fun to watch. And it's got those elements of humor that carry the story when maybe something is not terribly exciting going on.
Terrific chemistry, too.
It's got wonderful chemistry and all kinds of good stuff. And all the rest of them, honestly, they take themselves too seriously. I like my Musketeers to be fun and witty and having a good time and not afraid. And that's what I got from Church and the Crown. Was I'm kind of tipping my hand a little bit, but there was so much of that. Just let's go, and come D'Artagnan, we're saving the king, and off they went. And I was just with this big grin on my face through most of the audio. So I was like, I'm ready to watch this. So I got Mel, and I called Mel from work, and I was like, check the shelf when you get home and see if I own that. I think I do. I'm like 99% sure that I do. I know I used to own it on Laserdisc, but I don't know if I own it on DVD. And she goes, why? I was like, because we're watching it tonight as soon as I get home. And here's the other reason that we should put it on the schedule for Flicks with Friends shortly after listening to this audio is we've got that wonderful Paul McGann connection, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because Paul McGann's in the Three Musketeers. So that's another reason to love it all the more. And we've got a Doctor Who connection there. So, unbeknownst to me, Paul McGann has not one, but 2 roles in that movie.
Does he?
Yes, he is credited twice. And I went, what?
I didn't know that.
And we went and watched it, and I was like, holy crap, there he is again.
Who is he? Who is he besides, what's his name?
He's Gerard, the very bad-wigged
right.
brother who's fighting Chris O'Donnell's D'Artagnan at the beginning of the film because supposedly D'Artagnan has deflowered his sister. And he's all high-pitched and squeaky and all that kind of stuff. He is also the captain of the Cardinal's Guards, not Michael Wincott's character, but basically Michael Wincott's right hand, who at the very first scene when they cut down the thing, he turns, he says, "What should I do with the Musketeer flag?" It's Paul McGann. He's got the little beard and the goatee, and he's got the thing. He's the one that goes to the ale house to arrest them and gets the chandelier dropped on them, and then he rides up on the horse later. "You're under arrest." And they're like, "Oh, he's a fool."
No idea those were from Paul
I know. So
awesome.
there was this wonderful. Look, it's Paul McGann all over the place in this movie. He literally, because he's got both those parts at the beginning, I think he's in that movie more than Tim Curry is. I mean, look, he's all over the place through so do yourselves a favor, go watch The Three Musketeers. And we sat down, and Mel had been forever since she's seen it, so we sat down and watched it, and all of us, big doofy Glenn, got the grin on my face, because it was just, I love this movie. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And I had a good time. So that was cool. Saturday was a big day.
I enjoy the film, too, but it is the furthest from the source material.
I don't care.
Even I think the Mickey Mouse one is closer than that.
Filmmaking done right.
I'm not finding a 70s Disney version.
Maybe I'm thinking something else.
Do you remember who was in it?
No.
There's a Michael York version in 73, but I don't think it was Disney.
No, that was the...
That's the Richard Harris.
Yeah. Which was the Four Musketeers? That was that one, wasn't it?
No, this one's 3.
Or was that the Olivier one that I'm thinking? Olivier did the Three Musketeers, right? I'm not making that up.
I don't know.
Don't remember. There's been so many versions of it. I can't.
Doesn't matter. Limited time.
So we can also add whenever we get around to the Doctor sightings of watching movies they're in that they're not playing the Doctor. We can add Three Musketeers to Paul's list because he's two roles in there.
I'm all for that.
I'm the only one that got excited about it. It didn't matter to anybody else, but I thought it was way cool. Saturday was a big day for us. We had Katrina, and I was off. So we got to do all kinds of stuff. We drove down to Burlingame and had lunch and visited my mom and helped her set up a new TV and went swimming and saw horses and did all kinds of fun stuff. And then visited a friend of Mel's and then came back to town and had dinner over at Jose Peppers, which I love.
Jose Peppers.
And then Katrina crashed hard.
So you say the name. Jose Peppers.
Jose Peppers.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
And then James came over and was part of our great rewatch experiment for 1941. And so we sat down because I love 1941 unabashedly. And Mel, when I showed it to her and Will and Mel did not. They wouldn't have anything to do with it. They did not like it. And they did not see the humor in it. They laughed once. That was it. And so I recently at work was complaining about this and found out that James at work has never seen Waterworld. And I came home and I told Mel, I was like, you're not going to believe this. James has never seen Waterworld. She jumped off the couch and said, you tell him I'll rewatch 1941 with him if he comes over here and watches Waterworld with me. And I was going to suggest that at work and didn't because I thought, well, it's just maybe pushing it a little too far. But she said it. So I was like, okay, I'll go bring that past him. And he's like, yeah, all right, I'll do that. So we sat down and watched 1941. And he and I laughed nonstop through this whole movie. Just, there's not a flaw in that film. I don't care. I don't care that they try too hard. I don't care that it's slightly annoying with all the screaming. I don't even care that Treat Williams is in it. Because I hate Treat Williams with a passion.
I like Treat Williams.
I love all of it. And we laughed, and Slim Pickens showed up, and we laughed, and they just spoofed Jaws, and we laughed, and this shows up, and we laughed, and then John Belushi shows up, and we laughed, just nonstop. And Mel eventually, she was kind of like, okay to start with, and then she kind of started to giggle a little bit, and then she was like, oh my, that's wrong, and she would, and by the time we got to the end, she looked at me and she says, that there's a lot of that I don't remember. And it was so much more enjoyable the second time. And I said, you're not just saying that because I really want you to enjoy it.
It's probably one of those movies that's more enjoyable with friends, too, when you're watching.
It's more enjoyable with friends, and it's more enjoyable with friends that get it. Like I said, because Will, it wasn't his cup of tea. And so when he's sitting there like this, you're never going to get anything out of it.
Sours the mood a little.
When James and I are both laughing to the point where we can't hardly breathe, then I think that kind of becomes a little more infectious. Yeah. So we had a good time. You should have come over.
Yeah.
But so we watched that and crossed that one off the list, and then he got up and said, "Okay, so Waterworld, huh? All right." So that'll be next on the group thing at some point. So we did that, and then was there anything else I did? I don't think so. I think that was kind of the main thing. And of course, I had inventory tonight, which sucked. But,
Let's move on to news then.
News. There were a couple new trailers. Well, one trailer and a teaser.
Yeah, kind of strange that we went back to a teaser,
But
it's a clever teaser.
It's at least different than standing at the console and things exploding.
I liked it.
It's kind of bizarre in a way.
Yeah. It doesn't say much about the new series other than, hey, remember it's on the 23rd.
Don't forget it's coming back.
I like the style and design of it.
It almost makes me wonder if, because it's called Listen, if maybe that scene comes from that episode, because there is an episode called Listen that's coming up, right? Or am I making that up?
I don't think it's been confirmed.
Title
rumored title, I guess, is Listen. So it makes me wonder maybe if that is more something specific to that episode.
Yeah, I
and they just thought it was such a striking image. Let's use that as a teaser and call it good.
It's not shot like anything you would put in an episode, though. So no, I think
you never know.
I think that's specifically shot as a teaser.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's a bizarre look. Well, why would he say "listen" then?
Why is he hanging out on top of the
They're
TARDIS?
clearly that's just bother me. That's just it. They're clearly teasing something, and I think it was just an artistic way of reminding us. And listen, I think it's teasing something that it's foreshadowing something. I don't think that's a scene from the. No.
You think we're going to get four more teasers?
It's definitely
with each focusing on a different sense.
Ooh.
Touch.
What makes you think that? Just from listen?
Yeah. See.
Breathe.
Well, see would make sense.
Breathe. Deep breath.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
That's the first step. You take a deep breath, then you listen, and
speak.
Keith may have just unlocked the story arc of the whole season.
I think it's certainly dropping a hint as to what to expect, but the listen's obviously going to be a theme. But yeah, it's definitely not from a.
Yeah, and the guy that wrote that one episode dropped the hint of lasagna, and it's like that doesn't mean anything. I'll give you a hint: lasagna. What?
There's layers. Like an onion.
Ogres have layers. Onions have layers.
We briefly touched on the other trailer is really just a cut down version of the trailer we've seen without the dogs. So
yeah, kind of puts what he says in a different tone, though.
I think it does a little bit too. Yeah.
I think it's just the way it's cut.
Yeah. Speaking of deep breath,
there's going to be a cinema outing. No official word of.
When or where?
Well, we know when. We know when.
Where.
It'll be August 23rd. It's going to be
Easter Saturday,
August 23rd. It's going to be just like the 50th, where it's going to screen, where it's screened at 15,000 cinemas worldwide. So, hopefully...
Safe bet that if
It's
you
gonna be- if
were
you
part
had
of
it
this
last
previous
time.
batch, you should get...
Yeah.
So I think that's a great way to
So are we going?
do a simulcast.
You guys taking the night off?
Well, they'll
It'll
probably
be-
do like they
it'll be
did the
Saturday
50th and
afternoon.
run it on the Monday afterwards, so no.
Well, no. Well, yeah. Because some theaters did do it day and time. Some didn't. So
Yeah, but that one, you guys even went to one that wasn't one of the official day and time ones. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
that's why I say if
They might do
if
it,
they
though.
do it like they do it here, and they do it on the Monday following, then
So we going?
probably not. If
If
it's on
they-
the Monday
if it's on-
following, no.
If it's on the Saturday,
It's on
yeah.
the Saturday.
In the
potentially,
afternoon?
Yeah.
All right.
Could potentially do that.
I'm writing you down in my day book. Easter
So
Saturday.
once we
date
know the
with Glenn.
locations, we'll post those on our website or post them on Facebook or something, so that you can find out if it's coming near you, which hopefully it will be,
Actually, if it's that Monday, I probably will be able to go. Well, maybe not.
depending on if it's in the evening.
Well, yeah.
And if they do 2 shows.
Well, if they do a Monday, it'll be an evening show.
Yeah.
If they do the Saturday, then it'll be during the day.
Yes.
And if they do 2 shows.
Yeah, it'll be.
They might.
Well, just because, the first one was scheduled at 7 last
Right,
time.
right.
And then they added the
Well,
10
those
o'clock.
shows would be fine if that happens to be that Monday and things work out the way I'm hoping they don't at work. I'll be able to go.
Okay.
Okay.
That was confusing.
I might be working the morning show that week, so I could go.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No, that's the week after.
Is it the week after I?
The week I'm gone?
Oh, that's right. The week you're
It's
gone is
the
the
week-
week before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
You took the wrong week off, my friend.
Anniversary week, I get to end my
Actually, he
anniversary
did.
week with...
He could go.
I get to go, well...
Yeah,
Saturday.
I hope not to be on the morning shift by
Oh,
that
gosh.
Monday.
Well, I'm thinking I won't be on that full
so
week
either.
either. So
Anyway, also Deep Breath is getting a standalone DVD and Blu-ray release on September 9th.
so weird.
Amazon in North America specifically.
Have we
Our listing-
abandoned seasons?
No.
Have we
we're
just decided that this is too confusing
no,
and that we're going to go into individual
You'll still
episodes
get
now?
a season box set, but they're going to milk these for as much money as
Just
they can.
like they went
because
back and did-
it works.
Season 2, 1, and
A and B
A and B, yeah. To milk
for the same reason that they did
which I
season
I think
7
it's
and,
kinda-
and 6 and 7 in 2 halves too. They released
Well,
a
that one I can
half
make,
box set and half box set, and then
that
7
one
they
makes
did
a bit
half
more
box
sense
set and half
because
box
they
set.
were aired separate times of the year. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I'll
Going
give
back,
you that. I'll
going
give you
back and
that.
re-releasing the first half of season 2 makes no sense at all, other
Yeah.
than wanting money.
Sort of weird. As long as they can make money on it, they're going to do
I
whatever.
wonder if
they
it's
can
an
do.
instance of worldwide, if we don't have a Doctor Who, maybe it's a Marvel thing. If we don't have a Doctor Who DVD scheduled, we lose the rights to somebody else. So we're going to just keep going back and reissuing stuff we've
I doubt
already done.
that's the
Probably
case.
not. Yeah, I think it's just the almighty dollar and pound.
But Doctor Who Magazine did confirm that the episode will be just over 75 minutes long.
Ooh.
I think that's another reason it's getting a standalone release because it's technically in that realm of feature length. So
Just like the 50th. Speaking of which, we got details about the special edition box set that's coming out.
Yay and boo.
Yeah.
6,000 Blu-rays and 4,000 DVDs
That's
will
what
be
it was.
released.
Still an odd amount.
Very limited run. So far, UK only on September 8th. Some of the inclusions of this I think is weird. Mostly Name of the Doctor is one of the things included. I think that's weird.
why do you think that's weird?
Because it's part of the other season. It's,
Yeah,
part of
but
the
it's part of that
trilogy,
trilogy too.
Yeah, it's still...
It's the first one that sets up John Hurt.
Yeah, I still
And
think
it's an Of
weird.
the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I don't think that's weird at all.
and the Night of the Doctor.
That'll be one that now I own 2 of, but
If the set
if the set comes
yeah,
here.
well,
comes,
if the
comes
set
here,
comes
it becomes
Which
available.
have you guys seen the covers? Paul
They
gets
look
his own
neat.
cover.
Yeah, they look neat.
I want to know what's exactly on that disc. Is that just all the supplemental with
that would figure.
That's
wouldn't
what
it?
I would suspect
with
is that they
Night
put all
of
the
the
extras
Doctor,
on there.
Adventure of Space and Time, Five-ish Doctors, Ultimate Guide, Science, The Proms. I would assume The Last Day. Was that the short.
Last Day was the other.
Okay,
Yeah,
that would be on there.
The Fall of Arcadia.
I would assume the BBC America Tales
The
from the
Start of
TARDIS
the
and
Fall.
Farewell to Matt Smith would be on the Christmas special disc.
Likely.
Deleted scenes, Day of the Doctor read-throughs, cinema intros. So those are finally getting a release too.
Popcorn
In the
feel
UK.
pain.
Yeah, in the UK.
So you remember that box set that we all wanted? It's coming, but probably not near you.
Yeah.
Or available to you. 6,000 copies. That thing's
And
going to
it's
go
fairly
right away.
inexpensive too. It's only like £33.
Yeah. It's $60
It's
American.
cheaper than I would expect it to sell for.
$60 American. Well, that's about
Limited
a
edition.
box set price, though, an initial release box set price. So
For half a season. How much are the? How
Yeah,
much
but
are,
look
how
at all
much
the
are
extra stuff you're getting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's
if you
you
look
say
at
half
it-
a season, but it's. I mean,
Well, I'm just wondering how much.
there's
is a
one of
full-
those on there's feature length,
Yeah.
which that itself came out for $30.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's half of it right there.
If you look at the fact that you're getting the three, because all of them were near feature length, weren't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
Name
obviously,
wasn't.
Name
wasn't.
Well,
Name
neither was
wasn't.
time. Time was an hour.
but they were well. Okay,
Well,
they're
that was a
longer
little
than normal
longer, I
episode.
think.
They're still longer than normal episodes. So
Well, unless you discount 11th hour and which was I think 59 minutes and.
well, no, I would still count that as a longer. I wouldn't, done that separately.
Oops,
But
I'm sorry, kid. Oh, or
kid
Sean.
to me.
Sorry, Sean.
But you're getting those three, and then Adventure of Space Time is a 2 hour.
No, that's an hour and a half.
It was an hour and a half. Okay, so it's an
not
hour and
even
a
an
half.
hour and a half. I think
No,
it was
it's-
20 some, wasn't it?
95, I think.
Oh, was it? Oh, so
Regardless,
hour and 35.
you're getting 4 fairly big programs for
Yeah.
your $60, so that's $15 an
Yeah, it's
an
not,
episode,
it's
which
not
is
like
not
half a
horrible.
season. Yeah.
90 minutes, thank you. So that's not horrible. Plus, then all the the 5-ish doctors.
60.
That's what I thought. I thought it was an hour.
Which is longer than a normal episode.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so, but regardless,
I'm just saying it's cheaper than I expected it to be.
It's hard to pin down longer than a normal episode with Doctor Who, though, because some of them run 43, some of them run 47, some of them run 52.
Most of them run however long they need them
Right.
to.
with the standard, and I'm using quotation marks here,
With an
running
average of
length
45 minutes.
being an average of 45
Yeah.
minutes, give or
Yeah.
take,
Right.
a 60-minute
5 minutes,
episode is
yeah.
significantly longer than average.
What about significantly?
15 minutes is, in film, is a decent amount.
You can get a lot done in
15 minutes of
That's just
TV
honestly,
is a lot. There's whole shows that are only 15 minutes long.
That's-
What about
that's-
chicken?
I
that's
can't
me.
believe we're examining something we're not even going to get
Yeah, that to me is the difference, because 15-minute longer film is not necessarily a big deal.
No, but
a 15-minute
15
TV show, yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
That's
So-
true. That's true.
Although I suppose it depends on those 15 minutes. 1776 didn't need them.
If it weren't for that extra 15 minutes, we probably wouldn't have had Tom Baker in Day of the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that was only like 5
I
minutes.
don't think it was quite 15.
It wasn't
but yeah.
15, but... else in news, a novel written by Russell T. Davies called Damaged Goods. It was a Virgin book published in 1996 as The New Adventures, so it was the 7th Doctor, is going to be adapted into a 2-hour Big Finish audio.
Yay!
It's being adapted by Jonathan Morris, and it will be released in August of next year.
I'm assuming this is a good thing. I've not read this book
I
yet.
haven't
read
so
this book
either,
I can't really vouch
I'm
for
just
that.
excited that
That's just neat.
it's a new way to tell a Russell T story with 4th Doctor Tom Baker.
Oh, they announced that it's a 4th Doctor story?
I think I saw that.
I don't see it in this article. I could be wrong, though. Let me go to the Big
Pretty
Finish
sure it's a
website.
4th Doctor story.
I wonder why they wouldn't just adapt it for McCoy, since it was a McCoy story.
Oh, it was a McCoy
It
story?
was a McCoy story.
was
Okay,
McCoy
then maybe
story.
maybe I'm mistaken. I thought I'd read that it was a 4th Doctor story. So
Oh, it's even gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be a McCoy story, and it's even gonna have Chris Coeje
well, I'm not as
and
excited
Roz,
about it now.
Roz Forrester, his companions from the book, are gonna be in the audio too.
I would hope so. I would
Really?
hope that if they're adapting it, they're going to stay pretty true to the source.
Well, that
I
means
think it's
that
pretty cool.
we now have some new
Companions.
canonized
Yeah.
companions. Wonder who they're going to get to play them.
They haven't announced it yet, so they're searching.
Speaking
So
of
go audition.
Big Finish,
They just celebrated their 15th anniversary of their first release, Sirens of Time.
Yeah, and lots of...
and they're doing a lot of sales, right?
Lots of freebies and sales.
A lot of sales
this
on the
week,
website,
yeah.
so if you're...
I think it was one each day, so...
looking at tipping your toe in the water now would have been a good time to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's over, but...
Why you gotta burst the bubble, Glenn?
No, I'm just saying, because I don't want to say, hey,
Go get some. And
cheap stuff and freebies on Big Finish, and people go there tomorrow and go, oh, this was last week. So, but congratulations and happy anniversary to Big Finish.
Yeah.
Doctor Who line. Big Finish has been around longer than that, but the main line, this was the 15th anniversary.
Well, they're doing 15 days of stuff.
Oh, it's 15, so it's still going on then.
Yeah,
because they started on
Wednesday.
Oh, was it Wednesday? I was thinking it was Tuesday. Yeah, Wednesday.
So you've got some time yet.
You do have time.
Go get some stuff.
So go to their website.
Stuff and
Get some swag.
only the free stuff is swag.
I have yet to have that confirmed.
I looked it up to send you the definition.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you email it to me?
No,
or
I
just
texted
me?
it to you.
I thought that was just you saying that.
For crying out loud.
That's it for news.
Hang on, let me go back.
Let's move on to feedback.
First up, Chrissy. She writes, Time and Consequences. Dear Vortex Boys, I know I'm kind of late with feedback this week. It's a long story and I've only got reviews, so I'll skip the witty banter and go right into it. So in case you guys didn't realize, this is last week's feedback. Well, she sent it in on Wednesday. She continues with The Rapture. This one was weird. It felt kind of like Minuet in Hell set in 1997. Secretive club that looks respectable on the outside, but it's actually a strange and culty underneath the surface. I did like that Ace met her brother and we explored some of her backstory. Of course, we have the darker 7th Doctor, which is pretty much a regular thing with the Expanded Universe's version of 7. I guess any excuse to use the dance remix version of Doctor Who theme tune, right?
That was something I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I don't think we touched on that.
She continues with The Ripple Effect. This is probably the most clever and creative of this entire ebook series. Well, that I've read so far. I mean, I've enjoyed most of these stories, but this one is fantastic. Messing around with the timelines is quite a complex idea for a short story to tackle. Doubly so that it's the Daleks who become a pacifistic race because of an accident with the time vortex. And the moral conundrum that the Doctor goes through because his most ancient and deadly enemies are now the very model of peace and prosperity in the universe really gives the reader something to think about. More so, since even Ace says that maybe the Daleks would be better off as the good guys, and they should leave the timeline alone. This is Victory of the Daleks done right. It's the same idea and similar themes, but executed much more smoothly. It also echoes part of Genesis of the Daleks, when the Doctor talks about people becoming allies against the Daleks where otherwise they would be enemies, which is definitely a nice touch. I'd love to see Mallory Blackman write a full-length Doctor Who novel, if this is the kind of stuff she comes up with. That's all I've got. Hope you all have a fun week and try not to melt from all this horrible summer heat. 4 days in a row that's been over 100 degrees here.
Oof.
I'm officially done with summer.
I think we only got 2 ourselves.
Yeah.
But it's still been hot. Been in the 90s.
The text message you sent me says, if it's swag, that means it's free. Bring them home and we'll divvy them up. Nowhere on there does it have the definition.
I should have sent one after that. There should be one right after that.
Nope.
Because I think you commented, you commented like prove it or something like that, and then I
No,
sent
I
one in
tweeted
response.
that. I sent out a tweet to everybody saying Vortex Klein doesn't apparently think that swag means
Oh, right.
stuff.
And that's after that, I texted you with the definition because I copied
Didn't get it.
Ah. I'll send it to you again.
Checked the individual, checked the group. Didn't get it.
I'll send it again.
Okay, then. I still think you're wrong.
Up next in feedback is Holly.
Holly writes, The Church and the Crown. I'm reading the right one, aren't I?
Yes.
Hey guys, that was a good audio. Another historical, and it kept my attention. I'm really liking Ehrman and how she is adjusting to traveling with the Doctor and Perry. The music in this is good as well. The bad guys in this story aren't mustache twirling or scenery chewing, which is nice. The whole little twist with the Three Musketeers and all for one and one for all line was a neat twist at the end. Plus, Perry telling the Doctor to just be quiet and accept the position that he's being offered is so the 5th Doctor and Perry. Well, I'll wrap it up here, as I'm sure there's more feedback. Looking forward to hearing everyone's thoughts on the story. Holly from Wisconsin. Thank you, Holly.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you, Holly.
And we do have one more bit of feedback. Chrissy.
Chrissy writes, have you met the French? Dear Vortex boys, yeah, I got your schedule from last week confused. Sorry about the late feedback for the last podcast. I meant to do it earlier, but Monday and Tuesday were kind of wild for me. Anyway, I haven't read the new Doctor Who Titan comics yet, though I do have Gabby in Doctor Who Legacy, so all I have to talk about is the Big Finish audio you're reviewing. The Church and the Crown. I've listened to this one quite a few times. I really enjoy the Fifth Doctor pure historical stories that Big Finish does, and there are quite a few of them. I love the dynamic between Perry and Ehrman, which this is the first time you really get to see that. This is Ehrman's first story after her introduction. I also like that Nicola Bryant got to play Queen Anne in addition to Perry. Obviously, it gave her a chance to use her natural accent. But what I find interesting is that the story happens pretty much because Perry and Queen Anne look alike. That didn't actually have to happen in an audio story because you can change your voice enough to sound like a different person. But the audience can't see you and know that you look like the same character, if that makes sense. It's just a great example of Big Finish having fun with their format and trying out different things. And it reminds me of when Romana had a royal doppelganger in whatever story that was back in, the androids of Tara, and Mary Tam played both roles. And didn't she just say what it was? I had in whatever that story was back in Androids of Tara, it was Androids of Tara. I don't know what she's saying there.
I think she just got it right.
And Mary Tam played both roles. Plus, it's cool to have Ehrman to stand in and be the princess and use her training as royalty in this story. I mean, she's in the 17th century France and not ancient Egypt, but it turns out the basic principles of ruling a country are the same, more or less. Also, it's funny that this story takes place around the same time period as the Three Musketeers, with the same historical figures. So I kept picturing Peter Capaldi as Cardinal Richelieu, even though it didn't sound like him at all, and even though I have only seen short clips of the Musketeers and not any full episodes. Anyway, it's a fun story, one that I enjoy listening to over and over again. Good choice, boys. Chrissy. Thank you, Chrissy.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Well, shall we move on to our reviews?
Absolutely.
What are we going to start with?
You want to start with comics?
Or start with comics or Church and the Crown?
Let's do comics first.
Let's do comics first.
We'll go in
Doctor Order?
Doctor Order.
Not reverse Doctor Order?
Not reverse Doctor Order.
Going to save the best for last, Keith?
Yep. Should I read the previously?
Sure.
There's a synopsis.
There's a synopsis.
Kind of.
For previously, for the first issue.
It can be wonderful to explore all of time and space at the Doctor's side, but the universe can also be a dark and dangerous place. As the Doctor's most recent companion, Donna Noble, found to her cost. Forced to leave her behind, the Doctor has since been wandering alone. But no matter how far he travels or how long, something always brings him back to Earth.
Dun, dun, dun!
I like this one. Yeah.
I don't know if I give it that strong.
I liked the fact, first of all, I like the fact that they pinned down when this is happening. Because I don't know why, I just kind of assumed they were going to shoehorn this in somewhere in the specials year. Yeah, in between that.
Which it is. This is post-season 4.
Because he makes a comment about how Donna would have...
Because I just read about Donna Noble.
I guess the specials does follow that. I was thinking it was the season earlier.
He makes a comment about something he says, and then he says Donna would have had something about that.
Right, no. It comes across like it's fresh off of season 4, almost between season 4 and the specials.
Right. I guess that's what I meant. Is by referencing Donna specifically, that this is more on the heels of 4 as opposed to sometime in the middle of the special.
I should have made this go ding. I love when they ding or buzz. No buzzing's rubbish, isn't it? I hate buzzing. I'm a buzzkill. Oh, Donna would have taken the chunk out of that one.
I also kind of like how you get through a couple of pages and then you have a title page, like it would be for an episode. I think that's a really neat touch.
This was a fun comic. I was impressed, first of all. And I'll have to kind of wait a little bit to get into why I was impressed. But I enjoyed the feel of it.
It felt very much like a 10th Doctor story.
It was really well written. It was really well realized. And
Oxford English Dictionary.
Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Money or goods taken by a thief or burglar. Their homes offer tempting swag for burglars, that's what is derived from. And 2.1 is products given away free, typically for promotional purposes. Local studios provide swag, spirits, and food. That's what swag. That is the reference you're using. Or 2.2 is U.S. marijuana.
Click.
Nothing ever gets to you like free swag. It was disappointing show in terms of swag. People, girls, and look at this thing.
Okay. What dictionary is this?
The English Oxford English Dictionary.
Guess I'm bastardizing the language.
And the Australian New Zealand version is a traveler or miner's bundle of personal things.
That makes sense.
Yes, that's not in the context that he's using swag, though.
No.
You know why I use swag? Because it's easier to type than stuff. One less letter. Anyway, I liked the feel of it. It was very enjoyable, and I didn't feel too much. Sometimes when you go into one of these comic stories, they can repurpose dialogue, like it goes buzz or ding or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you kind of go, oh, you're just using that joke again. Although you're technically using it before we get the joke,
yeah.
you know.
Well,
wobbly, timey one.
Yeah. Because this would be set...
This is set post-Blink.
Yeah,
that's where it comes
the
from.
First time it's been reused.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Because it's used again then in Time of the Doctor, or Day of the Doctor, which would have been post this. So.
Right, well, because the device he's specifically talking about, you just keep it far away from cows, is referencing Blink, but then the ding reference I took to be a Time of the Doctor.
But the other one, the Blink one, goes ding when there's stuff, too.
And he specifically says...
I guess it's been a while since I've seen Blink, but... maybe it's because my eyes were closed through most of it.
Reference it to Blink.
But that was one that didn't bother me. I liked the way they worked the dialogue throughout this.
I also like how the Doctor's kind of in the background through most of the story. Kind of like an introduction to a new companion of his era was.
Very much like Rose.
Yeah.
Rose or Smith and Jones.
Yeah, Smith and Jones were pretty much the same way.
Yeah, it was a good feel.
Well, for that matter, they even started Donna's second introduction.
Partners in Crime, yeah.
I was a little surprised that we were going to go to New York. I don't know why, but it just kind of, for being a British TV show and a British comic book based on the British TV show, and now we're under a British publisher, I just kind of assumed we'd be in London just right off the bat. And for some reason, opening in New York, I was like, oh, okay. I'll go with that. Why not? I liked the coloring, particularly. I thought the way this was inked was very good. I'm a little uncertain about some of the art choices, but it's the first issue, so, I
think for the most part,
we'll grow into it.
Oh, I love the art. I think the artwork was one of the best things about this book. Yeah. It's.
David Tennant certainly looks like David Tennant, which is awesome.
No, it's just
for the Doctor looks like David Tennant.
Strong comic artwork right there. There's no question about the Doctor.
I think it's definitely better than some of the IDW ones.
There's no question that's David Tennant as the Doctor. The lines are really, crisp and sharp, and it's inked well. This is fantastic artwork for a comic book, in my opinion.
It makes me look forward to really reading more, since it kind of doesn't wrap up the story.
Well, that's just it. That was the thing that intrigued me the most about this, is because I really expected this not to be a cliffhanger. I really expected this to wrap up and
she gets on the TARDIS
and goes off. And so this was the first one I read, and I was quite surprised. I felt like I had to linearly read these. I was quite surprised.
I did too. I liked that first.
I liked that. I got to do his first. So, but I was actually shocked when I got to the end and realized, it's ending on a cliffhanger. I have to wait until the next one, which then, ironically, set me up for the next one, thinking it was going to do the same thing.
I like that they didn't do the same thing.
I like that they didn't either. That was the thing I liked best about the second one, is the fact that they did something entirely different.
And that's what I was waiting to talk about. I loved the fact that the 11th Doctor first story
is structured completely.
It's completely. It's not.
It's almost structured more like an 11th Doctor story.
Well, it's a standalone. versus, I mean, yeah, obviously we're getting the new companion and everything, but the story itself is wrapped up and done, and not necessarily the beginning of an epic arc or a 4-parter or something, which the other one was. I don't know why. I'll be honest, I kind of went into this with just a little bit of trepidation. I mean, hey, new Who, right? I should be excited. But it's kind of like, oh, I don't know about this. And you guys know me, I'm an IDW fanboy, so I like the stuff that they've done. And kind of going into this, I was a little nervous about it. And getting a very, very strong 10th Doctor first issue, and then turning around and getting a completely different but equally strong 11th Doctor first issue.
Yeah.
But another difference is...
I don't think the story is as strong.
They're laying more crumbs than making a blatant carryover. There are hints of there's stuff in this that's going to come in later.
Yeah.
It's just not as apparent as it is.
No,
the 11th Doctor one?
Yeah. That's panel specifically.
Oh, I did not see that.
Oh, yeah, that was...
I did not notice that.
You didn't notice that?
So they didn't just drop the visual clues as they went. Was there another one?
I think there was one more. Let me find it.
I don't know how I noticed it. It was its own panel.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he crashes into the pole. It's because he sees what appears to be a Time Lord.
That might be the only one.
Okay.
But it's still enough to make me go, oh, they're doing something.
Well, yeah.
You said this earlier, Keith. It's structured more like an 11th Doctor, and it felt more like an 11th Doctor story. Maybe with... I could see where somebody would...
The alien's not necessarily a bad guy.
Yeah. I can see where somebody
Very
might
much
complain
11th
that,
Doctor.
they're just doing kind of the Rainbow Chicken thing from Vincent the Doctor. But...
Rainbow Chicken?
Whatever it was. Space Chicken. But I didn't feel so. I just... Only Matt Smith's Doctor could tackle a giant rainbow dog.
Yeah.
In the streets of London.
Well, I think it's a calculated move. I think for the reason that the first one, the first 10th Doctor story is structured as introduce the companion through the companion, as they did in the 10th Doctor's era frequently. In this one, this was more of a 11th hour where we've got something that has to be resolved, but we also are focusing on something else that the companion's going through.
Yeah.
Like we did, and everything gets wrapped up nicely in a bow at the end, and she ends up, helping, and it's a distraction from her what has happened in her life.
Right.
And so they're both structured very much like both series were, and that's what I kind of admire, is that delving into something like this, they didn't go completely off the rails. They used formulas that were familiar, but stories that were different enough that it didn't feel like they were rehashing anything.
I think what impressed me most about the direction they took with that is it would have been very easy to... I mean, just right off the bat, when you make the announcement we're going to do a 10th Doctor and an 11th Doctor run at the same time, you're kind of like, ugh, okay. Because you could just... It would be very easy to set up the template of what story are we doing this month here, what story are we doing this month here, and they're going to kind of run along the same lines. Like they're both going to run 6-episode arcs, and then there will be a definitive stop, and then the new arc will start.
Could have fallen in the same trappings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just, that's kind of what I expected. They were going to be 2 different story arcs at 2 different times, but going to, have that same ebb and flow at the same time, and they're not. They immediately, nope, completely different, and that, I think, just, maybe it was my own expectations, but because I went into it with that mindset, and then it wasn't, I was like, wow, that was really cool, and I even went back and reread them, looking for some of the tonal shifts and things, and just, the 11th Doctor comic is an 11th Doctor story. It's more fairy tale, it's more whimsical, it's more this, and the 10th Doctor comic is very much more something that we would have gotten, what feels more like a Russell RTD kind of build up to something, and I was so impressed with that.
Let me ask you this: how many 2-part episodes in Matt Smith's era are there?
More than we probably think. First one would be the Angels and the Silurians in the finale.
Which is actually 3 parts. Yeah.
The finale?
The finale of... Oh, no, not that season. The next season, I was thinking.
And then...
yeah, that was 2. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, and then we got the opening of Season 2.
Possible
or
Astronaut.
Season 6. If you count Good Man Gets to War.
That's a 2-parter. and then Wedding River Song.
Wait, Good Man
But
Goes
that's-
to War was a two-parter?
Well, Good Man
if
Goes
you
to War,
count-
Let's Kill Hitler.
If you count those two.
I don't count that as a two-parter.
Then there's only one real
Depends on a
two-parter
cliffhanger.
in the first.
No.
In
Okay,
season,
well then,
in season 6, there's only one.
Then-
The story's resolved.
Then
They
you've
just-
got the Rumble
arc,
Flesh
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that
as a
one.
two-parter.
Rebel Flesh, Almost People.
Yeah.
And in the second half, there isn't.
Okay.
Oh, because
So-
Wedding River Song's not a two-parter. Is
No.
it?
Yeah,
no,
it's
you're
just
right. It's just the
one.
one.
Just a little longer.
And then season 7,
There are no two-parters.
there are no
two-parters.
two-parters because they were
Yeah.
specifically designed to be all. So what did we come up with, 6 or 7?
There are more than we think. Now that I think
There
about
is. Hold on.
At any
Pull
rate,
up a good list.
why do you ask?
it. Well, because the one thing with this starting and ending, it always felt to me that like there were more two-parters in 9 and 10's era. And so this one setting up that way really kind of felt natural for me. But I always felt like there were fewer two-parters in Matt Smith, and his first episode starts as a, well, everybody's does, but it starts as a just kind of a standalone, and it mirrored that. And I thought, that's kind of, another element of this that I felt was similar to the feel of the 11th Doctor's era. But there
guess I
are
hadn't
more
thought about that.
two-parters than I had initially
But I still
thought
think
of.
there are probably more two-parters in 10's run.
Probably because he has a longer run than two.
Slightly.
So. Well, no, he doesn't have much of a longer run. If you throw out the specials, he doesn't.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 definitely for 11.
I really liked the transition from the depressing black and white into full color rainbow dog.
7, 4, 10.
Just
11, what it boils down to is I like the 10 story really, really well. It really it grabbed me. It was interesting. It was entertaining all the way up to the cliffhanger. Kept me guessing all the way. The 11th Doctor story didn't enjoy as much. I appreciate and I like what they've done with the interweaving of her life and what's being introduced to her. I like the concept of that and how they worked it in and weaved it. I didn't think the story was strong. I thought the Rainbow Dog was a little silly. I thought it was a little too light, whimsical at the end. But both companions, I think, are starting out as very strong characters.
I would
I
agree.
thoroughly enjoyed that aspect of them. While I love the artwork in the 10th Doctor story, the 11th Doctor story was just a little too...
There are some panels that are really good.
Well-
like this one, I think.
Everything's too soft for me. There's not enough
There's a lot of soft
definition.
lines.
There's times where Matt Smith doesn't look like Matt Smith. There's times where Matt Smith looks like a caricature of Matt Smith, especially when he's running into the pole.
yeah, that one I did.
Face is a little
notice.
too long in some shots, but so I don't like the artwork as well in the 11th Doctor series. But overall, I think both stories are a strong start
Oh, it's
to
a
each
great
of
start.
their runs, and I'm with Sean. I kind of thought that they would just kind of cookie cutter this until they got it
Yeah.
off the ground. But to take two totally different approaches from two different books was a grand idea and a very good way to start, a new license for a
And it makes me
series,
think
for
they're going to
another
do an
series.
even different one for 12.
Well, that
so
was
there's going to be
just-
3 different stories
Yeah.
telling techniques.
And that's just that it really made me excited for not only the next issue in this line, but we'll bring on 12. I'm ready now. I want to see what you guys can do with it.
I would agree.
I also really enjoyed the upside down line that we got when she walks into the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Because you
Never seen that done
No,
before.
yeah, I haven't seen that
Although
done
it's
before.
easier to do in a comic.
And the fact that the pool was in it, that's an automatic
Yeah.
win.
And he has goldfish in the pool.
And goldfish in the pool.
Well, not fish, more a highly intelligent aquatic race.
So I high marks. for
Good
me.
start, Titan. Nice job.
Yes. Keep it up.
Who's excited for more. And obviously, we won't do a review every time a comic comes out. But we'll kind of, as we go down the road, we'll certainly pair up and do some of the arcs as they go.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the
And it's
big
cool to have
finish
those
outing.
companions in our legacy game because I've played with Gabby
Have you?
and I've already fallen in love with her because she's awesome. I like
What's her ability again?
drops in up to
That's right.
10 red
Yeah,
gems at the end of
that's right.
turn.
Yeah.
So I loaded her onto my red team and was actually able to level her up pretty quick. And there's something about being able to, hey, look, I just did like this nice, 5 or 6 combo, and then immediately 10 more red gems drop down on top of that, which count toward that. It was like, ha, 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 bam, so
Yeah.
it's very nice, which I understand, is it the 5th Doctor that does that too?
Yeah, but with green. I
With
believe
green,
it is.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I like the ability.
Him. Do I have
He was a code. You
Was
had
he a
to
code?
code
I can't
him.
remember if I coded
He
him.
comes
He's
with
out
Greyhound.
with Greyhound 1, yeah.
Ah.
If you don't have the code. I thought you got I stopped sending you guys codes because I just assumed you were all on the newsletter
remember.
and
I'll have to
getting part of
look.
the...
Was it in the newsletter?
It might have been in the newsletter. I don't remember.
See, I put in a
I get
code.
codes everywhere from different sources at all times.
Yeah.
That when I go back, I have no idea where I got the code
Yeah,
from.
So one more time, I guess, if you didn't catch that, in the New Titan comics, since we're talking about that, there's a website and somewhere in the back that
Very
you
back.
can go to.
Very back of that one and or very back of this one. Second
Almost
to
the
last
very back
page
one,
of
yeah.
this one.
But there's a website that you can go to, which will then send you to another link
that's not as
where
far
you
back in
can
this one.
get the code to unlock the companions from the comic in the Legacy game, which is awesome.
It's the
Yes.
next time page. They're touting the next issue of the one you're reading. That'll be at the base of there. It says Doctor Who Legacy, and in the corner there'll be a website. Type in that website. Go there. Get your code. I like that the artwork. I was a little. I kind of wondered if the artwork would be the artwork from the comic, since they were getting these characters from Titan.
Oh, yeah.
But it still stays with the Seed Studio artwork that they're doing.
Oh.
But they still very much look like their characters in the comic, so I
Yeah.
appreciated that as well. All right, now let's
A nice
move on
touch.
to the audio, the Church of the Crown.
The 5th Doctor, together with Perry and Aramim, become involved with political intrigue in the court of King Louis and Queen Anne in Paris, 1626.
Dun, dun, dun!
Yeah, I like this one.
This one was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
At first, when it started and Perry gets kidnapped, and they kind of dropped the hint of, wow, she really looks like Queen Anne. I kind of wondered if they were going to go with a Prince and the Pauper sort of situation. I was kind of glad they did something very different from that, because that's kind of what I expected it
Well,
to
see,
be.
it's funny that you say that because I thought they were very heavily borrowing from that. I
See,
thought they
I-
were very heavily borrowed
See-
from the Three Musketeers. I think that I felt like they were trying to incorporate all of that classic literature from that French era, from that.
I would have
that
felt like
same
they would have
era.
been trying to tap into that more if the Queen wanted to.
Well, I don't know. I
that's
should
kind
say
of what they,
I don't think they were playing heavily on any of it, but I think that's where they were
That's
drawing
probably
a lot
where they
of
got
their
inspiration.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have 5. I liked the inclusion of how they did the Musketeers. I really like that. I think Nicola Bryant did a really good job playing both roles. And after like the first introduction, it didn't sound like her to me. Once it was Queen Anne, I heard Queen Anne. It wasn't. It wasn't Nicola Bryant doing another voice. So I really appreciated that aspect.
Yeah.
And Aramim in this was phenomenal.
Yeah.
She is so cool. I just really like her character. A good introduction, I guess, not introduction, a good inclusion to the team, and brings her own skills and abilities and stuff that they couldn't have done. And she gets to strike out and be on her own for a lot of her, some of this. And it's her only second story. That's pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah.
That she can hold her own in this whole situation.
They gave her something to do, and they gave her something to do well.
And I liked how it wasn't a matter of, well, she's here, so she's automatically a part of the team. She kind of had to earn her trust with the Doctors through this story. I like that, and how he was kind of at the end of, well, it was kind of fun, despite altering history possibly.
Yeah.
Let's keep you around. I really liked how they handled all that, instead of it wasn't so much of, all right, you're with us, come on, let's go. It was still kind of a test period for her.
Yep.
Which is interesting in a way, because of all of the companions that have kind of jumped on board and run, after a shaky start.
Maybe after Trilo, he's been...
Leela, I mean, how many stowaways have we had? How many of this have we had? How many times just, I'm coming with you. Oh, all right. Aram seemed like a natural.
Yeah.
Bring her on board. Let's go. And instead we get I'm going to drop you off the first available opportunity. And it's like, what are you doing?
Well, I guess it kind of makes sense since aside Perry was the last person he picked up. And before that it was Turlo who tried to kill him several times. So it's kind of, Perry kind of proved herself in Planet of Fire. And then since then. And so it made sense to me that the Fifth Doctor not one that is tired of a crowded TARDIS.
Yeah.
He's done with all the people and wants just one companion. It made sense.
And then, and it did.
It's nice that he kind of realizes that having more than one person around is useful and fun.
Well, and it also...
Because it's not the Fifth Doctor to me unless it's two or more companions.
I don't know for sure how many of the Big Finish stories are just the Fifth Doctor and Perry early. I know there's at least one that came before this, at least within the range. But I don't know if that's technically, chronologically, before Aram joins up or not. I believe that it is. But it was kind of striking when they get toward the end, when she stops him in the sewers and says, but do we have the right to, aren't we changing history now? Aren't we doing this? And I'm kind of thinking, this is a rookie discussion. What do you... Oh, that's right. This would
pretty early.
This must still be pretty early, and it was just kind of cool to have that inserted in there, as opposed to having somebody go with the flow and just kind of a reminder that not everybody is used to that. It was kind of a refreshing change to throw that in there, to roll with that. So, but this was just for me, top to bottom, I enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed. Thought all the voice acting was good. The story was a lot of fun.
Well, if
I got to watch Three Musketeers.
If we assume this follows,
well, I was so grateful that it didn't use the characters of Athos, Porthos, Aramis, and D'Artagnan, because really those were the original author of the novel, Dumas. Those were characters he made up that clearly were representations of Musketeers. They weren't real Musketeers. So it would have been odd to place him into this, because if they had done that, I would have gone more of the direction of, well, this isn't really ancient Paris. This is more like Time Meddler, or not Time Meddler, Mind Robber, or something like that.
Because if D'Artagnan had shown up, all of a sudden you have either eliminated the book, The Three Musketeers, from the Who universe, or we've been tipped off that we're in some sort of fictional representation of that world. And so either way, it doesn't really work for this.
I love the idea that the Doctor keeps trying to get them to adopt the motto, all for one and one for all.
It'll never catch on.
It'll never catch on.
How many did you say, Keith?
This is her 5th story in Big Finish. And since technically it's her 4th, because Ish is with the 6th Doctor.
As is Whispers of Terror.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So it's only her 3rd story. If you Planet of Fire, Red Dawn, Eye of the Scorpion, Church in the Crown.
Red Dawn. I forgot about Red Dawn.
Yeah, that was the one that I assumed was... I mean, I knew it was earlier in the run, but not necessarily chronologically.
Yeah, we don't...
Yeah.
Red Dawn is right after she joins in with Planet of Fire.
I believe it is.
I think
we haven't listened to it.
We haven't listened to that one yet.
No.
Yeah, we skipped that one.
Yeah, we did. So then I wonder if
for a reason, before anybody...
Yeah. But I got the maybe that was one I listened to years ago. Then when I was first doing Big Finish stuff, because it
would make sense to me that it would be right off.
Is that Ice Warriors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is the reason that we skipped it.
I did listen to that.
Yeah, it's just been long enough since I've listened to it. I don't remember for sure.
That one is right after.
I believe that it is. Yeah. So.
Okay.
But at any rate, it's still nice to have that anchor.
Yeah. Because really, did we ever have that moment for her? We didn't ever. In the series, I don't remember an episode where we kind of had that moment of her questioning, changing history, etc.
Well, she didn't get it, really. I mean, at least because with... obviously, Planet of Fire is another planet.
Yeah.
The next story would be Caves of Adrazani, which is another planet. Then Twin Dilemma, which is another planet. So she never really gets to that historical moment until Mark of the Rani, I think.
And then she doesn't question it at all, so it's kind of...
television.
Because the lead-off would be Attack, right? Attack of the Cybermen is the next one.
I'm trying to remember.
Isn't that the lead-off for the next season?
Following Twin?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe that's right.
And that's present-day Earth.
Yeah.
So, or what's meant to be present-day, or we assume 86-ish.
Yeah.
But at any rate, it was so having a historical thrown in earlier, it was nice to have that. But yeah, Ehrman was wonderful. Really, really enjoyed her, and I wondered. There was a part of me that kind of felt like, how many times can you use that trope before the Doctor is going to comment on it? Because just with us and the stories that we've covered now, obviously we know Perry apparently bears a striking resemblance to Queen Anne, although she doesn't think so. And then we had
nose is crooked.
You never do, though. When you look, everybody says, "Hey, you look like so and so," and you yourself never think you look like that person.
And then the Eighth Doctor,
like the not Keith at
the not Keith at British Fest.
I never did see him.
He didn't look like you at all,
according to you.
No, that was according to him.
Or according to me. But every time I looked, I was like, "Oh, here's Keith." Wait, no.
Well, from the back with the hat.
From the back with the hat, and the short lady next to him. But
are you calling Sarah short?
Yes. I'm 6'4". Everybody's short.
That's true.
The Eighth Doctor one that we listened to just recently with Kariz and
Other Lives,
Charlie, where they're masquerading as somebody else because they apparently can bear enough of a resemblance to them, even though Kariz is an alien. It's like, okay, sure, why not? At what point is the Doctor going to go again?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the thing that I love this story. It was a lot of fun. It's the Fifth Doctor stories for me in the Big Finish line are getting better and better, more solid. Obviously, so I love Spare Parts. I thought Eye of the Scorpion was a fine story. This one, it almost seemed like it took them longer to figure out to get the Fifth Doctor stories going to find out what works. But there were some early on that I admittedly enjoyed as well. But it really feels like they've hit their stride by this point. So,
and I really like when Big Finish does these pure historical stories, because after the First Doctor's era, we don't get any.
It's true,
and so it's kind of cool that we got
get a chance to go back.
We got a Seventh Doctor one. We've gotten a couple of Fifth Doctor ones now. It's kind of a nice inclusion to the show, kind of harkening back to how it started.
The other one thing that stands out to me in this story is that for the longest time, for the first, second, third, fourth, especially the First Doctor, you stand back and observe, but you can't become an active player in time because you'll change events or I love the idea now that the Doctor is just acceptant of the fact that, we were always part of these events. Yeah. And this story particularly anchors that idea that, we were always meant to be part of these events. And I've always thought that when I've seen stories where the Doctor stays just far enough away where he doesn't really change or be involved in the linear events, but is always far enough away. This just puts him smack dab right in the middle of it. And that's where I that's one thing I really loved about this, is that not only is he in the middle of it, but he acknowledges in such a way that, we're part of this from the beginning. So,
and I wonder how much of that is just from the nature of, because all the previous Doctors were a little more reluctant to that.
Well, at some point you got to make that recognition.
Ford didn't really get a lot of historicals. Most of his were otherworldly set. But then we get into the Fifth Doctor's era, and he's responsible for the London fire. He's responsible for, he gets a lot of historicals kind of during that run that he was in the middle of the events. Right. And so it's kind of, maybe at this point he's just like, yeah.
All right. That's my...
just roll with it.
That's my... it's his lot.
Yeah.
All right, what we got coming up quickly on the schedule, Sean?
Coming up on the schedule for Friday Night Who this week, we will be watching The Space Museum with First Doctor William Hartnell.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. And then on the show the show this week, we will be reviewing The Space Museum and a Sixth Doctor audio in celebration of Big Finish's 15 years of Doctor Who anniversary, that's why I did it all this month.
Good job doing that on purpose, Sean.
Yeah, I didn't do it on purpose. It was serendipity. I didn't know it was Big Finish.
I thought that was the line we were supposed to give.
Your line is, I'm going to free the genie. It wouldn't be us if it wasn't serendipity. So I scheduled a whole bunch of Big Finish, and it turned out this month is their 15-year anniversary of the Doctor Who line. I was like, wow, cool. So we're going to continue. So you've got another audio to listen to this week for next time, which is Doctor Who and the Pirates.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one too. I already listened to it. Although I listened to it a long time ago too.
It's
So.
not the Space Pirates, just the Pirates.
Just Doctor
Doctor Who and the Pirates.
Doctor Who on the Pirates.
I'm excited to see what you guys
Yar,
think.
matey.
Can we talk like a pirate next week?
I've been holding this off, but I'm going to say, yes, we can. But I was going to say that it was very serendipitous that you had recently watched the Gilbert and Sullivan Pirates of Penzance.
Well,
And you'll find out why.
Well, this is the one where he sings, right? He
find out.
sings.
Oh, you'll
I am
find out.
the general
yeah.
song.
I wondered if
I think
you knew
Dr.
that.
Phil had mentioned that.
Oh,
to us
I
once
think you're
before.
right. Yeah, that's why I said last week I thought it might be pretty obvious what song I might use. So we'll see.
Well, you're going to use Tragedy.
Tragedy. Got to drop it in somewhere, I guess.
You
All
can't,
right.
you can't use it this week because we got to go out on a.
In fact, I think I hear that coming up in the background. So, if there's nothing else this week, until next week, I'm Glenn.
I'm Sean.
I'm Keith.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Be seeing you.
You have been listening to Traveling the Vortex. Doctor Who and all of its associated programs are owned and trademarked by the BBC. No infringement is intended or implied.